Hey everybody, Clyde here. I'm sure you've heard the news. Greece is a top travel destination. Got your eye on Greece? Listen, Greece is great and all. Don't get me wrong, but it's been discovered. You know what I mean? It's like the guy who used to bring a guitar to the party and now he's got 3 Grammys. Good for him, but I'm just saying, before you book that flight eating nothing but olives and feta for the next 6 months to afford it, maybe pump the brakes a little. Because I'm about to save you some serious vacation time and maybe some serious cash by telling you which Greek tourist traps you can skip entirely. Unless, of course, you're into breathtaking views, ancient history, and experiences you'll never forget. Then by all means, book that flight, baby. But don't say I didn't warn you. Oh, and a quick disclaimer. This is not a typical YouTube travel channel, and this video will be using reverse psychology from time to time. For those Greeks that may not be familiar, may be triggered by it, please watch to the end. First up, Santorini, the island that's on everyone's bucket list, the crown jewel of the Aegean, the whitewashed paradise, Okay, I'll stop, but seriously, it's like a postcard come to life. Look, Santorini is beautiful. No one's arguing that. The views are stunning, the architecture is iconic, and the sunsets are legendary. But come on, people. It's like the poster child for over-tourism. The streets are packed, and it feels like everyone and their dog is there. You know what I'm talking about? You can barely move for the influencers posing for their Instagram shots. It's like a never-ending photo shoot. And those sunsets, forget actually enjoying the view. You'll be too busy dodging selfie sticks to even see it. It's more stress than serenity. Plus, have you seen the prices there? A cup of coffee will set you back like $50, and that's not even for the fancy stuff. And that's for the instant stuff. You want a real cappuccino, you're gonna need a small loan. It's like they're charging for the view, not the coffee. No kidding, right? Look, if you want to experience the real Greece, Santorini's not the place. It's more like a theme park than an authentic experience. It's like going to Disneyland and thinking you've been to France. Sure, it's fun, but it's not the real deal. It's a nice fantasy, but it ain't real life. The crowds, the prices, the constant hustle, it's not what you came for. So, do yourself a favor, skip the crowds, the inflated prices, and the Instagram cliches. Find a place where you can actually relax and enjoy. There are plenty of other Greek islands out there that are just as beautiful, less crowded, and way easier on the wallet. Discover the hidden gems and have a more authentic experience. Next up, we're heading to the capital, the Big Olive herself, Athens, a city that's as ancient as it is bustling with modern life. Now, I know what you're thinking. Athens, the birthplace of democracy, the city where Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle once roamed, the cradle of Western civilization? What's not to love? The history here is palpable, almost as if you can feel the ancient philosophers whispering in the wind. And you're right, Athens is all those things. It's a city that's rich in history and culture, a place where the past and present collide in the most fascinating ways. It's also hot, crowded, and full of, well, ruins. Lots and lots of ruins. Everywhere you look, there's a piece of history crumbling before your eyes. Don't get me wrong, the Acropolis is impressive. It's a monumental testament to ancient Greek architecture and ingenuity. If you're into piles of rocks, and let's face it, not everyone is, which, let's be honest, most of us aren't. We might appreciate the history, but staring at old stones can get a bit monotonous. I mean, I get it. They're old rocks, really old rocks. Rocks that have seen the rise and fall of empires, but they're still just rocks. And after a while, they all start to look the same. And after you've seen one ancient temple, you've kind of seen them all. Unless each one tells a different story, it's easy to get temple fatigue. Unless you're a history buff, or you're really into archaeology, or you just really like rocks, you can probably give Athens a miss. There are other places with more diverse attractions. Plus, let's talk about the traffic. It's not just busy, it's chaotic. Athens traffic is like a contact sport. It's aggressive, it's loud, and it's relentless. It's every man for himself out there. And the honking, oh the honking. They don't honk to warn you, they honk to say hello. It's constant. It's like a symphony of car horns, and not the pleasant kind. So, unless you're dying to see some old rocks and experience what it's like to be stuck in a traffic jam in a sauna, I say skip Athens. There are other Greek cities that offer a more relaxed and varied experience. All right, let's talk Mykonos, the island of the winds, the playground of the rich and famous. This island has become synonymous with luxury and extravagance. Well, you get the picture. Mykonos is basically Ibiza in a toga. It's a place where the party never stops, and the energy is always high. It's all about beach parties, super clubs, and celebrity sightings. You'll find world-renowned DJs spinning tracks and celebrities dancing the night away, which is great if you're into that sort of thing. The nightlife here is legendary, and the parties are some of the best in the world. But if you're looking for a relaxing Greek getaway, Mykonos is not the place. The island is bustling with activity, and finding a quiet spot can be a challenge. Unless your idea of relaxing involves being surrounded by drunk tourists and techno music blasting at all hours, the constant noise and crowds can be overwhelming. And don't even get me started on the prices. Mykonos is expensive. From accommodation to food and drinks, everything comes with a hefty price tag, like really expensive. We're talking about paying 10 euros for a bottle of water expensive. And that's not an exaggeration. And that's just for the tap water. Imagine what you'll pay for a meal or a cocktail. Look, if you want to party like a rock star and rub shoulders with the glitterati, by all means, head to Mykonos. The island offers an unparalleled party experience. But if you're on a budget, or you just want a little peace and quiet on your vacation, I'd suggest looking elsewhere. There are plenty of other Greek islands that offer tranquility and beauty without the high costs and constant noise. Next up, we're heading inland to Meteora. Now, Meteora is definitely unique, I'll give it that. Where else are you going to find monasteries perched precariously on top of giant rock pillars? It's like something out of a fantasy movie. But here's the thing. Getting to those monasteries, it's a hike. And I'm not talking about a leisurely stroll through the park. I'm talking about a steep, winding climb up hundreds of steps. So, unless you're in really good shape or you're really into monasteries, you might want to skip this one. Plus, once you get to the top, what are you going to do? Look at more rocks? I mean, the views are nice, I guess. But come on, we've seen enough rocks to last a lifetime, right? Crete, the largest of the Greek islands, the birthplace of Zeus, the home of the world's longest word? Okay, I made that last one up. Crete has it all: stunning beaches, rugged mountains, ancient ruins, delicious food. You name it, Crete's got it. But that's kind of the problem, isn't it? It's just too much, it's overwhelming. It's like they took all the best parts of Greece and crammed them onto one island. You'll spend your entire vacation just trying to see it all, and you'll come home feeling like you need another vacation just to recover. Plus, Crete is big, like really big. You're going to need a car to get around, which means navigating those crazy Greek roads. And trust me, you don't want to be driving in Greece unless you have to. So unless you're a glutton for punishment, or you have like a year to kill, I'd say skip Crete. Next up, we're heading to the island of Rhodes. Rhodes is famous for its medieval old town, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's like stepping back in time to the days of knights and castles and, well, you get the idea. But here's the thing, Rhodes is a popular cruise ship destination, which means that during peak season, the old town is absolutely packed with tourists. You'll be dodging selfie sticks and fanny packs left and right. You'll be lucky to get a decent photo, let alone enjoy the atmosphere. Plus, all those tourists mean one thing: long lines. Lines for the bathroom, lines for the restaurants, lines for the attractions. You'll spend more time waiting in line than you will actually seeing anything. So, unless you're a huge history buff or you just really love standing in line, I'd say skip Rhodes. Delphi, the center of the ancient world, the home of the Oracle of Delphi, the place where people went to get advice from a woman who spoke to a rock? Yeah, I don't get it either. Look, I'm all for ancient history and all that, but Delphi is just kind of weird. I mean, it's cool that people used to come here to get their fortunes told and all. But let's be honest, you can get the same advice from a magic 8-ball. Plus, Delphi is located in the mountains, which means a long, winding drive to get there. And once you're there, there's not much to do besides look at the ruins. Which again, are cool. But we've seen enough ruins, right? Zakynthos, home of the famous Navajo Beach, also known as Shipwreck Beach. It's a beautiful cove with crystal clear water and a rusty old shipwreck in the middle of it. It's a photographer's dream. It's also a tourist trap. Now, I'll admit, Navajo Beach is stunning, but it's also incredibly crowded. Like wall-to-wall people crowded. You'll be lucky to find a spot to lay down your towel, let alone get a decent photo. Plus, the only way to get to Navajo Beach is by boat, which means you'll have to fight your way through hordes of other tourists just to get on a boat. And once you're on the boat, you'll be crammed in like sardines. Look, if you're dead set on seeing Navajo Beach, go for it. But be prepared for crowds, chaos, and a whole lot of frustration. Thessaloniki, Greece's second largest city, a melting pot of cultures. A history buff's paradise. Also a bit much. Thessaloniki has been ruled by everyone from the Romans to the Ottomans, which means it's packed with historical sites, which is great if you're into that sort of thing. But if you're not a history buff, you're going to be overwhelmed. Plus, Thessaloniki is a big city, which means traffic, crowds, and all the other joys of urban life. It's not exactly the relaxing Greek getaway you're probably dreaming of. Finally, we come to Naxos, the largest of the Cyclades Islands, home to stunning beaches, charming villages, and ancient ruins. Naxos is basically what everyone thinks Santorini is. It's beautiful, it's relaxing, and it's relatively undiscovered. But here's the thing, Naxos is, well, it's kinda quiet, like really quiet. If you're looking for a party island, this ain't it. But if you want to escape the crowds, relax on pristine beaches, and experience authentic Greek culture, Naxos is the place to be. So, there you have it. 10 places in Greece you can skip on your next vacation. Unless, of course, you're into all that history and culture and stuff. In which case, by all means, go nuts. So, there you have it, my completely serious, totally not sarcastic guide to the places you should definitely skip in Greece. Look, Greece is beautiful, it's historic, it's full of delicious food and friendly people, but it's also a popular tourist destination, which means crowds, high prices, and the occasional tourist trap. But hey, don't let me burst your bubble. If you're dreaming of Grecian sunsets and ancient ruins, go for it. Just remember to pack your patience, your sense of humor, and your credit cards. And hey, if you do decide to brave the crowds and head to Greece, be sure to send me a postcard from Santorini, where you'll be enjoying the peace and quiet, alone.